Have you ever sat back and asked yourself, is there a better way to age than moving into a nursing home? For many people in their later years, that thought brings a quiet fear. The fear of losing control. The fear of being placed in a setting that feels more like a holding place than a home. But here's what so many don't realize. Aging well doesn't have to mean giving up independence or dignity. In this video, we're going to explore 7 living options that are changing the game. These are not theories. These are real, practical ways people are choosing to age, ways that support freedom, connection, and purpose. And if you stick with me until the end, I think you'll discover something you didn't even know was possible. And hey, if this topic speaks to you, don't forget to subscribe. We're building a community here for people who want to age with wisdom and power, not fear. 1. Staying in your own home with just the right help. There's something deeply personal about waking up in your own bedroom, sitting in your favorite chair, and looking out the same window you've looked through for years. For many older adults, home isn't just where the heart is, it's where identity, comfort, and peace live. But sometimes, living alone as you age comes with challenges. Physical, emotional, even practical ones. That's where this first option comes in. Staying in your own home, with support that's designed around you, not the other way around. This approach isn't about losing independence, it's about protecting it. And for many people, the difference between feeling overwhelmed and feeling in control lies in just a little bit of the right help. Think of it this way. If vacuuming the house leaves you sore for days, or if remembering all your medication schedules has become stressful, those tasks don't have to define your ability to live at home. You don't need full-time assistance to stay where you are. What you may need is targeted support. That could mean having someone stop by twice a week to help with cleaning or grocery shopping. It might mean arranging for a trusted helper to assist with meal prep or organize your medication box once a week. Small changes, big impact. And it's not just about physical chores. Emotional support matters just as much. Some folks arrange regular check-ins with a neighbor, friend, or community member, not just to make sure they're safe, but to feel connected. That friendly voice asking, "How's your day going?" can ground you far more than we often realize. Now, some people hesitate. They think asking for help means giving up control or admitting they're failing. But here's something to remember. There is strength in designing your own support. It means you're not waiting for someone else to make the decision for you. You're saying, "I want to stay here, but I want to do it wisely." It's also okay to start small. Maybe you just begin with help for outdoor chores like mowing the lawn or trimming hedges. Then, over time, you add other forms of support if you feel it's needed. The beauty of this model is that it evolves with you. You don't commit to anything you don't want. You remain in charge, always. And let's not forget how being in familiar surroundings affects the mind. Studies have shown that seniors who age at home often retain better memory, experience less anxiety, and maintain a stronger sense of self. Your home holds your stories, and preserving that environment, even with a little help, can be incredibly stabilizing. If this idea speaks to you, here's one simple step to take today. Make a list of the top 3 tasks that feel most draining or risky to do alone. Then ask yourself, who might be able to help with just one of those? A niece, a neighbor, someone from your faith group? Start there. One task, one solution. No pressure, just possibility. Because aging in place isn't about proving you can do everything. It's about building the life you want with the tools that work for you, right in the place that already feels like home. Number 2, living with family, without losing yourself. For some in our community, the idea of moving in with family sounds like a natural next step. Maybe to save money, stay safe, or simply be around people who love you. But for others, it brings a wave of hesitation. Will I have my own space? Will I become a burden? Will they expect too much of me? Or worse, nothing at all? Here's the truth. Living with family can work beautifully, but only when it's shaped with care, honesty, and mutual respect. You're not just moving into someone's house. You're entering a shared space where your presence should bring value, not guilt, and where your independence is honored, not erased. Some of the most peaceful, joy-filled arrangements I've seen didn't come from big houses or perfect family dynamics. They came from simple understanding. One person in our community shared how she moved in with her daughter after her husband passed. At first, she said, I worried I'd just be in the way. But we sat down before I moved in and talked through everything. What I need, what they need, and where I could retreat when I wanted quiet. That one conversation, she said, changed everything. If you're considering this option, here's a gentle but important suggestion. Don't skip the talk before the move. Make space for open dialogue. Ask questions like, will I have a private room or space? Can I bring some of my furniture or keepsakes? What household routines should I know about? Are there expectations for helping out with childcare or bills? You deserve clarity. It doesn't mean you're being difficult. It means you're being wise. Also, think about your needs for alone time and routine. If you're someone who likes a quiet morning with your tea and a book, say so. If you enjoy helping with the grandkids, but not every day, express that early on. It's better to establish balance up front than to let silent tension build over time. Now let's talk about something else. Preserving your identity. When you move in with family, especially as a parent, it can be easy to feel like you're stepping backward. Suddenly, you're under someone else's roof, and it stirs up old roles and patterns. But you are not the same person you were decades ago. You've grown, and your boundaries matter. That's why it's so powerful to carve out a space within the home that's yours. Even a small bedroom with your favorite blanket, your books, your pictures. It reminds you that you're not just mom or grandma. You're still you. Lastly, if living together doesn't feel like a fit right now, that's okay. You can still find ways to live near family without sharing the same roof, like renting a small apartment in the same neighborhood or converting a garage or basement into a personal suite. Sometimes closeness works best with a little space. No matter the setup, what matters most is this. You have the right to feel safe, respected, and seen wherever you live. You've given so much to others. Now is the time to build a living situation that truly gives back to you. Number 3, age in place. But make your home work with you, not against you. One of the most powerful truths I've come to believe is this. You don't have to leave your home to feel safe, supported, or dignified as you age. But you do have to be willing to adapt it. Many people want to stay in their homes, not because they're stubborn, but because that space holds memories, comfort, and control. It's where you raised your kids, watched the seasons pass through your favorite window, and kept the traditions that make life meaningful. But the home that once fit you at 40 may not support you the same way at 70 or 80. And that's okay. Homes can change, just like people. Adapting your space isn't about giving up. It's about setting yourself up to thrive. We often think home modifications means tearing walls down or installing expensive systems. But in reality, some of the most life-changing adjustments are modest. A second handrail on the stairs, a non-slip mat in the tub, brighter bulbs in the hallway, a small stool or grabber tool for high shelves. None of these changes require a contractor, but they make your home feel like it's protecting you, not challenging you. And don't underestimate the mental shift that comes with simplifying your space. When you're not tripping over furniture or hunting for paperwork under piles, your brain has more room to breathe. Several people have told me the simple act of clearing walkways or creating a daily essentials station by the door, keys, glasses, medications, helped restore their sense of calm and confidence. There's also a psychological comfort in preparing your space for who you are today, not who you used to be. When you replace that low, sagging couch with one that supports your back and helps you stand up easily, it's not just furniture, it's self-respect. You're telling your body, I see you. I'm going to make this easier for both of us. And here's something you might not have considered. Your home can actually help others care for you better. If a friend or family member stops by to help, clearly labeled drawers or a simple weekly pill organizer on the counter make it easier for them to support you without digging through your life. So, if staying in your home is your goal, then let's make it your ally. Let it reflect the wisdom of your years, not the limitations of them. Every thoughtful change you make is a way of saying, I'm not giving up. I'm getting ready for more. No. 4. Live with family, but protect your peace. Living with family can sound like the perfect answer. After all, what could be better than being surrounded by people you love? But anyone who's tried it knows it's not always easy. When adults of different generations share the same roof, things can get complicated. Your peace, your privacy, even your daily habits, they can all start to feel like they're slipping away if boundaries aren't clearly set. So, if you're thinking about living with your children or inviting a relative to stay with you, let's slow down and talk about what really makes it work and what doesn't. The first step is having an honest conversation before anyone packs a suitcase. You might say, "I want this to work well for both of us. Can we sit down and figure out what that would look like?" And don't shy away from the tough topics. They're what keep relationships strong. For example, define your space. Even in a shared home, you need a corner that belongs just to you. A bedroom, a reading chair, a quiet spot where you can go to rest or think without interruption. Agree on roles. Are you expected to cook, help with childcare, contribute to bills, or are you simply a guest? No role is right or wrong, but not knowing, that's where problems begin. Protect your routines. Whether it's morning prayers, a quiet afternoon walk, or watching your favorite show before bed, your habits matter. They bring rhythm to your days, and they shouldn't get lost in the shuffle. Talk about finances. Money doesn't need to be a source of tension, but it often becomes one if no one talks about it. Even a simple, "Would it help if I chipped in for groceries or internet?" can go a long way toward easing discomfort. Respect goes both ways. If you're living in someone else's home, respect their rules. But if they're living in yours, your needs come first. It's not about control, it's about mutual understanding. And here's something important. It's okay to say no if this kind of arrangement doesn't feel right for you. Some people need solitude. Some have spent decades caring for others and are ready to finally breathe. There's no shame in knowing that what's best for your well-being might not include sharing space. The heart of it is this: you deserve to feel calm in your own home. Whether you live with family or on your own, peace of mind is not a luxury. It's a necessity. And the best living situation is the one that lets you keep your dignity, your independence, and your voice. 5. Choose independence. But don't isolate yourself. There's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Some people thrive in solitude. They enjoy the quiet, the space, the freedom to move at their own pace. But as we age, there's a risk that choosing independence can quietly slip into isolation. And that's when things get hard. You might love your own company. You might not want a house full of noise or people asking you questions all day. That's perfectly okay. But what you don't want is to find yourself going days without meaningful conversation, weeks without laughter, or months without stepping outside just because it feels like too much effort. That's not peace. That's withdrawal, and it can sneak up on even the strongest of us. So what does it look like to stay independent without drifting into loneliness? Start with small habits, really small, like saying good morning to a neighbor when you fetch the mail. Calling someone, just one person, once a week for a proper chat. Not a text, not a thumbs-up emoji. A real voice. Or how about this? Find a routine that gets you out of the house once a week. It could be a walk to the corner, a trip to the market, a visit to a nearby place of worship, or even a bench where you can sit and watch the world go by. You don't have to make friends with everyone, but letting the world see you and letting yourself see the world keeps your spirit connected to life. Some people find strength in starting a new hobby they've always wanted to try. Not to impress anyone, not to fill time, but because your hands still deserve joy. Whether it's gardening in small containers, sketching what you see out your window, learning to bake something new once a month, those little acts of creation anchor you to the present. And here's something that helps more than we admit: stay reachable. Let someone know how you're doing now and then. If it feels hard to reach out, just remember, you're not bothering anyone by being human. People who care about you want to know you're okay. And if you're thinking, "But I don't want to be a burden," let me gently say this: isolation is heavier to carry than a 5-minute phone call. And staying connected, even a little bit, is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself. Choosing independence doesn't mean shutting the door on the world. It means staying in charge of your life, while still letting a little light in. Number 6, design a space that honors the life you're living now. One of the quiet reasons so many of us feel restless at home as we get older is because the space around us still reflects who we used to be, but not who we are today. And when the walls, the shelves, the corners of a room feel like they're stuck in the past, it's hard to feel at ease in the present. You might be retired, widowed, downsized, or simply in a slower season of life. But look around. Does your home still expect you to be the version of yourself who threw dinner parties for 12, managed a full household, or juggled work and kids? Does it ask you to keep up with a pace you no longer live at? If so, maybe it's time to redesign your space. Not with money or furniture, but with intent. Start with one small zone. Maybe the area where you sit and read, or the table where you have your meals. Ask yourself, does this corner bring me peace? Not perfection, peace. If the answer is no, clear just one thing from that space that doesn't feel like it belongs anymore. Maybe it's a dusty stack of unread magazines. Maybe it's a decorative piece you've outgrown. Give yourself permission to let it go. Reclaim spaces based on how your life actually works today. That guest bedroom that hasn't hosted anyone in 5 years? It doesn't have to be the guest room anymore. It can be your craft space, your meditation space, your spot for dancing barefoot in the morning. Who says you owe anyone an explanation? Sometimes people hesitate because they're waiting for a big change, like when they move or remodel. But you don't have to wait. You can shift your surroundings with the smallest of steps. Place a framed photo that makes you smile near your bed. Use the nice dishes just for yourself. Light a candle in the evening, not for guests, but for you. And if your mobility is limited or you live in a space that's not your own, don't think you're stuck. Even the tiniest changes, a soft blanket on your favorite chair, music in the background that lifts your mood, a drawer finally organized, can speak volumes. This is your space. It should serve you, not shame you. Your home is more than walls and things. It's a reflection of how you see yourself. And you deserve to see someone strong, steady, and still very much alive in the mirror of your surroundings. 7. Build a circle of belonging, not just a safety net. Aging well isn't just about what we do, it's also about who we walk with. And yet, for many people in this season of life, connection starts to slip through the cracks. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, routines change. Before we even realize it, the days get quieter, sometimes too quiet. But here's the truth we don't say often enough. We were never meant to age in isolation. Having people around you matters, but not just any people. Not just folks who check on you out of duty. I'm talking about people who actually see you, who listen when you speak, who laugh with you, not at you, who make you feel that you still belong somewhere. Now, I know that kind of connection doesn't always show up at your front door, and it's not always easy to seek out when energy is low or mobility is limited. But building a sense of belonging doesn't have to start big. It can begin with just one meaningful conversation each week. One call, one shared walk, one good morning to a familiar face. The key is consistency, not quantity. For someone in our community who shared that their days are filled with sheet music and tools, but also tangled with ADHD and deep overwhelm, know this: you are not alone. So many of us are carrying beautiful minds and heavy hearts. Having someone to talk to who understands that, whether it's a neighbor, an old friend, or even a local support group, can be a game changer. You're not a project to be fixed. You're a person worthy of companionship, just as you are. If you're unsure where to start, think about who already makes you feel safe. Maybe it's someone at your place of worship. Maybe it's the familiar face at the market who always smiles. Maybe it's someone you've drifted from and want to reconnect with. Reach out, even just to say, "I'm thinking of you." And if that feels too hard, start even smaller. Journal, reflect, write letters you don't send. Because even solitude can be a bridge back to community when we use it to rediscover who we are and what we truly need. This stage of life isn't about being surrounded by a crowd. It's about creating your own circle, whether that's 2 people or 10, where you are valued, understood, and uplifted. Because aging well isn't about holding it all together alone. It's about knowing you don't have to. So now that we've walked through these 7 powerful options, I want to leave you with this thought. Growing older doesn't mean shrinking your life. It doesn't mean disappearing into routines or living only in memories. This stage of life, your life, is still full of choice, dignity, and depth. And maybe the most important decision of all is to believe that you still deserve a life that feels fulfilling, not just functional. I know some of the ideas we talked about today might feel overwhelming. Maybe you're thinking, that sounds great, but I don't even know where to begin. That's okay. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're right on time, just as you are. Start small. Think about one area in your life where you'd like to feel more in control, more connected, or more at peace. Then ask yourself, what's one gentle change I can make this week? Not a complete overhaul, not a leap, just one step forward. That's how real change happens. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live well, with joy, with clarity, with people who remind you of your worth. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these options spoke to you the most? Or maybe you have your own ideas or experience that could help someone else watching. Share it in the comments. You never know who needs to hear your story today. If this video gave you something to think about, if it made you feel seen or a little more hopeful, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support helps us keep making thoughtful content for this beautiful stage of life. Thank you for spending this time with me. You matter. And your future? It's still full of possibility. I'll see you in the next video.